All right, so this is going to be our last lesson for chapter 3. It is 3.6. The front looks like this, creating a quadratic model from data. Okay, there's no questions on the front, it's just instructions for how to do the problem. So certainly read through these, but I'm going to go through them with you. We're going to do these two examples on the back, and I will post this as well. Now I am posting this on Friday, but this is going to be Monday's lesson, so don't get too ahead of yourself. For those who want to work ahead, great. For those who don't overstress it. I know these are difficult times. But try to do the Explore Learning simulations. Not everyone has gone on to those. If you're having trouble, let me know. I posted one a couple weeks ago on vertex form, and I posted one last week on factored form. So make sure you're working through those. Answer the 5 multiple choice questions at the bottom and click check my answers. If you don't click check my answers, then the information doesn't come to me and I don't think you're doing them. Okay. Also, if you have any questions or if you want, if you have any questions, go to the Q&A section in the classwork, open the Google Sheet, make sure you click on our class tab for math and ask me the questions there. And you can look at the questions other people have asked as well. Maybe my answers to different questions will help you as well. Okay, last, make sure you download from the classroom the Chapter 3 assignment. Work on that next week. Again, don't stress about working on that this week or this weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Work through that next week. I will post a Google form quiz next week that I'm going to make due on Friday. So make sure you finish the assignment by Friday and then go on, fill out the Google form quiz, which will be exact same questions from that assignment, and you can just click your answers. If you don't see your answers, that's a clue that maybe you made a mistake and you can go back and check. And if you have trouble checking, it's not a test, right? If you're getting an answer that's not on the Google form multiple choice option, again, it's not a test. You can ask me for help. So go back to that Q&A Google Sheet and ask me for help. Okay, I will help. All right. All of that being said, let's go through these two example problems on the back. It looks like this. Okay, so I'm going to go up to the whiteboard and we'll do the first together. The first says, determine an equation in factored form that best represents the graph. Express in standard form as well. All right. Expressing in standard form isn't too bad. You just expand factored form. So let's figure out how to do this in factored form. Now you have the graph in front of you. I'm just going to do a rough sketch of it here. It looks like this. And it goes through these 2 points on the x-axis. This one is x equals minus 5, and this one is x equals 2. Okay, and then it gives us 1 point, one random point around here. It says that point is the point -1 and 24. Now with this information, we can determine the equation in factored form. Now the equation in factored form looks like this. Y equals A times x minus s times x minus r. So we need to figure out 3 things. We need to figure out the value for s, r, and a. Now s and r aren't too bad at all. They're actually your x-intercepts. So it doesn't matter which is which. Minus 5 we can choose to be s, or r again doesn't matter. And 2 we can choose to be r. Now if we put minus 5 in for s, remember there's a negative here. So you're going to get negative minus 5, and 2 negatives make a positive. So we're left with a times x plus 5 times x minus r, which is 2. So we'll put in our 2. All right, so now all that's left is to figure out what this a value is. And to do that, we're going to need a point on the graph. It doesn't matter what the point is. You take any point on the graph. However, they only give us one point. So that's the point we're going to use. So this is our x value, and that is our y value. And we're going to substitute those values into this equation, and there'll be only one unknown after we do that, and that'll be a. So we could solve for it. So our y value is 24. So I'm going to write 24 equals a. And our x value is -1. So -1 plus 5. And again, -1 minus 2. Now we're just going to simplify a bit. So we have 24 equals a. -1 plus 5 is 4. -1 minus 2 is -3. Continue to simplify. 4 times -3 is -12. And now solving for a is being multiplied by -12, so to undo multiplication, the opposite operation is division. We divide both sides by -12. Those go away, we're left with a, and a equals -2. Okay, and a lot of people usually stop there on a test. Don't stop there. The question was to find an equation, not to find a. We needed a to find the equation, but you need to write your final equation, which is y equals a, which is -2, times x plus 5, and x minus 2. There's our equation. Your equation should always have a y and at least one x in it. Okay, and then nothing else. Well, when I say nothing else, no other unknown terms. Okay, so that's all we're doing today. I'm going to go over the second example, which we're going to use the same steps. The steps are to locate the x-intercepts, substitute those values into s and r, and then use any point on the graph to substitute into y and x to solve for a. Now the question does also say to expand into standard form. So let's just do that. Just rewrite this above. Y equals -2, x plus 5, and x minus 2. So to rewrite this in standard form, we are going to expand it. To expand, we FOIL, right? Like this. Leave the 2 for now. So y equals -2. I'm going to just leave it on the outside. Put a nice big bracket in here. Here we get x squared plus 5x minus 2x. And then 5 times -2 is -10. Now here we have two like terms that we can add together. So 5x minus 2x is just 3x. So we get x squared plus 3x minus 10. And we're almost done. Now we're going to take this -2 and distribute it into every term inside of this big bracket here. So we get y equals -2x squared. -2 times +3 is -6x. And -2 times -20, two negatives, gives you a +20. Okay, and that's our equation in standard form. All right, let's erase this, and we're going to do example number 2. All right, example number 2. Again, let me just quickly do a sketch of the graph. It looks like this. Where the x-intercepts, if you look at the graph, is -18 and +18. The vertex is right up there. All right, and we need a point as well. Well, they have an entire table of values. So unlike the previous question where they only give you 1 point, you can have your choice of point. Doesn't matter which one you pick. Let's start with the first r and s though. So here's our equation in factored form. Y equals a x minus s times x minus r. Again, it doesn't really matter which one's x and which one's r. Right? It's something times something else. 2 times 4 is the same as 4 times 2. Doesn't matter the order. The negative, when I plug in this negative 18 in for, let's do it for s. Remember, there's a negative out here. So 2 negatives will make a positive. So we'll get a times x plus 18, and then x minus, because there's a minus in the equation, and the value for r will be our other x-intercept, 18. All right, so now we need to pick any point, substitute those x and y values into that equation so we can figure out what a is. Now it looks like the easiest point is the vertex, which is 0 and 50. I was going to do that, but then I thought, I'm going to let you do that one. I'm going to do a different point. You do the vertex. And we should get the exact same value for a. Okay, this will be our little proof that you can choose any point you want. Okay, I'm going to do the bottom point, 10 and 35. So we have the point 10 and 35 somewhere probably here. I'm going to do that point. You do this point, which is 0 and 50. All right, so if I substitute our y value 35 in for y equals a, and our x value is 10, so 10 plus 18, and again 10 minus 18. Okay, simplify a bit. 10 plus 18 is 28. 10 minus 18 is minus 8. Now I need to get out my calculator. 28 times 8 is 224. It's negative 224. Okay. Divide both sides by that minus 224. And you get a equal to negative 35 over 224, which does reduce into 5 over 32. But if you prefer it as a decimal, we can round off somewhere and say minus 0.16. I've rounded it off at the second decimal place there. Okay, now if you did that, and you did it for the vertex point 0 and 50, instead of using this point 10 and 35, try it. You'll get the same answer for A. If you don't, one of us made a mistake. It could be me. I don't think so, but it could be. I make mistakes too. All right, so remember, we're not done here. We need to substitute that and actually write our equation. So y equals minus 0.16, or I like fractions. Minus 5 over 32 times by x plus 18 and x minus 18. Okay, and that's our equation. And we can expand that like we did before into a standard form equation. It does get a little messy, because we're dealing with big numbers here with 18 and small numbers with fractions. But the main thing I want you to get from this lesson is not how to expand, because we've done that many, many times before. It's how to actually determine this equation from factored form using data. Okay? If you have any questions, let me know using the Google Sheet for anything, this lesson or the gizmos or the assignments, the Google form quizzes, whatever. Okay, and if you're working ahead, then you've seen this before the weekend, have a good weekend. If not, have a good week.